we're going to take you through Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton, the basic chords, the cool little lead riff, and let's get going. First of all, the chords. We're going to learn nice new voicings. The diagrams are on your PDF, which I'm assuming you have got in front of you printed out. And this is your new G. In essence, it's an F, simply moved F sharp, G. So we've moved the chord in essence 2 frets up, F through to G. Same concept as bar chords for those that are familiar with it. Now on the picking side, really nice picking pattern. I'm going to call out the string numbers, the fourth string being fourth from the bottom, and we're going to play it like this: 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. One more time, I'm going to count 3, 4. You can join me just to get the picking sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple as that. Now, on the chord shapes, you'll notice that the second chord is called D/F sharp. The transition is going to go from the G on. Notice my first finger is actually across 3 strings, not 2. And that's going to come in really useful now with the transition to the D/F sharp from the G. You simply slide 1 fret back, and middle finger comes down 1 string. And it's going to sound like this. After that, you're going to go to a C. I'm sure you're familiar with C by now. And the only difference there, the picking is going to start from the 5th string this time. 5, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Otherwise identical, and then D. Now, what's quite cool is once you know these 4 chords, you can actually get something like this. Is my looper pedal, which I'll show you at the end of the video, and that's playing the chords that I have already pre-recorded into it. And that's quite cool because now you can actually accompany yourself if you've got a loop pedal, or you can consequently get a friend to jam along with, or plan C, you can just record this onto your cell phone and jam along with it. Now before we do the rest of the chords, I want to do the intro riff too. It's a very nice melodic intro. It's going to sound like that. Now, you're starting at fret number 7 on the 3rd string with your first finger. And then I want you to jump to fret number 10 with your ring finger, finger number 3. And you're going to see that there's a 10 on the PDF and then followed by a 12 in brackets. Now, you're not going to do this. You're not going to go from 10 to 12. You're going to bend it to sound like the 12. And then you're going to unbend it, and the correct term is release. So this is a bend and release. So you pick the note, bend it, and release it. In context, you're going to have this. And then after that, fret 8, and you end on fret number 10 again with a little bit of vibrato. So the entire phrase, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Easy as that. Now, have a quick visual comparison between the first and second bars on the PDF for the actual intro tune. And you'll see that the 10 at the end of the second bar is no longer there. It's replaced with a 9 on the 3rd string. So this is your second phrase. Exactly the same, but for the last note. So if you put your first and second bar together, I'm going to count to 4 again. And what's very important here, notice the riff doesn't start on the first beat. It starts on the and after the 2. So you're going to go 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And so what's important there is if your friend's doing this, 1 and 2, as he hits that next note is when you start playing your phrase. So they're going to start 1 and 2 and 2. And that's very important, otherwise it's not going to work well for you. Now, the last phrase starts off the same as the first phrase. But it's got these 4 notes added into it. 7, 8, 12, and then 10. And if you want to get fancy, you can do something like this. And that little technique there, that is called a rake, and what I'm doing there is I'm putting my palm flat across my strings. I'm pre-positioning my ring finger to number 12, and I'm literally just dragging or raking my pick across the strings. And as I get to my target note, I'll lift the palm up. You can see my palm lifting there. And it just sounds cool. It's a nice little embellishment, a nice little extra to put inside there. And you can put a whole lot of them if you really want. You can go. Okay, can get a bit overkill if you do 2 in a row like that, but it sounds nice. Use it at your own discretion. Now, one more time with the looper going in the background. Remember, 1 and 2, and then that starts. Okay, so I'm going to hit the looper button, which you can't see me hitting, obviously, but you can hear 1. And again. Now we can get fancy with that riff, which I'll show you towards the end of the video, but let's get back to the chords. Okay, the same chords that we used for the intro are the same chords for the first 2 lines of the verse. But when it gets to line 3 and he sings, and then she asks me, do I look alright? We have this C chord, D chord, and then my favorite part, G to D to E minor, no chord up to C. Nice and busy part, but that tab is actually on the PDF too. Let's walk you through it slowly. The C and D, nothing special there. Playing from the 5th string for C, D from the 4th string, and now comes the variation. It's a very nice piece. I like this change actually. It's G to the D with the F sharp onto E minor. Notice for my E minor, I'm not playing it like this because you're not going to play the 5th string. You're playing from the 4th string down for the E minor. The tab will confirm that. Also notice the picking pattern for this little section is also slightly different. Your picking strings are going to go 4, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, and then open 5th string, fret number 2nd on the 5th string, and then you're back to the C again. And that C that I'm mentioning is when he sings and I say, yes, you look wonderful tonight. Okay, so one more time through that whole G transition, nice and slow, and I count you in, 2 and 3 and 4 and... back to your G again at the beginning. Now for those that are playing a bit more advanced, you may with the D do some nice little tricks like this. And all I'm doing there is on the D, I'm adding in a D sus 4, pinky to the bottom string on the 3rd fret, D, D sus 4, and then when I go to a D sus 2, I simply lose the middle finger. And that together could sound something like this. Or slow motion. Those are little extras you can put in the song as well, so you can actually sort of have something like this now. Slide there and you're... On that slide there, I'm taking the ring finger on the D, sliding it to an open string, and that will take me down to the C. It's just a nice little extra that makes the song a little bit more interesting. And that in essence is Wonderful Tonight. Your bridge part, the C and D with the G run as well, the G run being the... We've done that already inside the verses, and that is the song. Now, I mentioned earlier about doing some little extra parts inside your intro riff. Okay, watch this over here. nicely. For hours busy jamming. And for those that know scales and want to learn some more, this song is actually in the key of G major, and the scale shape that I'm playing from this over here is basically the B Phrygian mode. Now lots of guys will argue your modes are not positions and they're meant to be tonalities. Yes, they are right, but they are also positions too. So if you're in the key of G, the B Phrygian mode will also give you the same notes. That's why it works so well. For those that don't know the B Phrygian scale or the Phrygian shape from the 6th string, starting at fret number 7, it's going to go 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, and you finish it with 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10. And that's the scale I was using for improvising at the end. Yes, we could have done the E minor scale as well over here, the pentatonic. We could have been the purist and said, well, it's G major, so I'm going to use the G major scale. In essence, all of them actually have the same notes. So try not to overthink the modes too much. Let the jazz musicians do that. Just teasing. Okay. But for now, the aim is to be able to solo anywhere on the guitaric. And I went for the Phrygian, not because I thought the Phrygian is a better scale, but because where I'm playing the tune is actually found inside the position. In other words, the notes I've used are inside that scale. Now to finish off the video, I'm going to do a bit of a jam and we're going to see what it sounds like. Riff, played over here. So you can play the same riff at different places, and that's why it's nice to know the relationship of the modes within this key that you're playing in. In other words, for this little quick study, I used B Phrygian. I could have used A Dorian. I could have gone to A Aeolian, which I actually did. I could have gone to G Ionian. I could have put D Mixolydian, etc., etc. Bottom line is they all give me the notes I need to use, so they've got total freedom. So if I want to just have fun, bit of an overkill, but you get the picture. Sorry about that note. At the end of the day, you can see I was trying to sort of demonstrate that I can go different places on the guitaric and it all works. That's the lesson behind this. But the goals were to learn the picking chords. That was the first goal. The second goal was to go and learn the tune and to have lots of fun with Wonderful Tonight. And the third goal was just to have fun. Now, I mentioned the looper. I'm going to show you my looper now. There's the looper. You get some really nice fancy ones. This is probably the cheapest I could find in the market. Works really well. And there's my backtrack. Simple as that. So I record on one of these. I've got a backtrack. I can jam. I can practice. Very nice tool for new guitarists and advanced guitarists because you can try your ideas and lay them down and see what they sound like in experiment. So it's a very, very nice, almost little band in a box. If you can get a looper, don't hesitate.